What's up, gamers? Neosquad here. Welcome back to another episode of Victoria 2, Heart of Darkness, as Brazil. And once again, game both developed and published by Paradox Interactive. I absolutely love those guys. But let's get right into this. Alright, so if you have any questions about the last episode and anything I explained, please leave it in the comments section below. For future videos, I'll go into more depth for anything that was very confusing. So for now, I'm going to unpause. I'm just pressing spacebar. You can click up here. Now I'm going to use plus or minus on the numpad to increase and decrease speed. Right now I'll go to 3, which is normal. There's also, it goes up to 5, which is fastest. And if you look at my units, as these bars fill, once they hit a certain area, they actually go into that territory. Not sure why these two split the direction they were going. And this bar right next to the thousands shows the strength. As they're fighting, if their strength hits 0, they're essentially in full retreat. They're going to lose a ton of people and try and get out of the fight. Alright, it's time to act. Paraguay is getting too big for their boots, as all can agree. For too long they have been strutting around the world stage, thinking they can do as they will. Thankfully, at last the rest of the world agrees, and our population is solidly behind us. Paraguay must be taken down a peg or two. Good call. So this is a random event. A lot of these happen. Some happen to only certain countries, and some are more likely to happen to certain countries, etc. A lot of these happen, they actually add a lot of flavor to this game. And this one is going to increase the speed that our casus belli, which is our war justification, is created. So now if we go to diplomacy, well, they discovered it about a third of the way through. So it's actually going to cost us 2 infamy instead of 3. Infamy does go down every month. More so, it goes down a lot faster if you are in peace at the time. Actually, I'm going to put that infantry back with them for now, because I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough people to make all 3 units before I go to war with Paraguay. So reforming this will help me out. And then these guys will move up there. Just for now, mind you. Oh. And now the castability is going 25% slower. It happens. There's not too much you could do about it. So you see my balance is positive now that I've paid for all the resources for the army construction. I'm actually going to lower education some more. I hate lowering education, but it's what I have to do while I'm in war here. Paraguay is building a military, and they'll have a somewhat decent military once I go to war with them. Let's just look. 25 more days, so less than a month to go. Now, as I said, the biggest date is 1870, because that's the date that you can start colonizing Africa, or a little after. That's when you can start getting the technology required to colonize Africa. So we're just going, alright, now we have the Castelli space to pause. A lot of these events don't pause the game, so you have to remember to actually pause it if you want to read. So now we have a casus belli, and actually, if you look, 2 of our artillery are finished building. And they're automatically, because of our rally, coming down to this territory. They'll get there eventually. I'm not too worried about that. But I want to start this war as soon as possible. So it's declare war. Now I could do either of my just causes, the acquire core or the humiliate. I'll do the acquire core and add the humiliate goal during the war. I could try and call allies. It's unlikely that Venezuela will join me, but likely that the others would. If someone doesn't join you, it's essentially just breaking the alliance. I'm going to proceed, though, and move into this territory. Now, because this territory is my goal, if I take it and hold it, I will start gaining war score. Now, an interesting thing, if you look here, what are you guys doing? Alright, their military is moving into this territory. Not too worried about that. Once... Ooh, what do we have here? Alright, my first cavalry is done too. These two artillery are still coming, and that's an artillery. Once they go there, I'll crush their army. And you see their army's at like, what, 30-40%? Now, they are experiencing attrition. Even though the supply limit here is 32 for me, and there's only 12 of them, I did lose some units, just because, you know, the local people don't really like being invaded, I suppose. And this bar on the bottom is just occupation progress. The faster that goes, the faster it actually takes the area. And I'm going to wait for these military units to reach their destination. My budget is in the negative. Units tend to take more supplies from the stockpile during war. And these units that just built don't have their organization up yet. Give them some time to sort it out. As long as I break this before the occupation finishes. Alright, now Bolivia is requesting military access from me. They're currently at war with Argentina, and they want another avenue of attack. But I'm really not feeling Bolivia, especially because I want to take their land. So this war's looking fine. This is a very easy war to start with. I'm actually surprised I'm not in debt right now. I'm going to bring that down to 70%, as well as administration spending. And military access from Argentina. Now, I'm going to allow Argentina because I personally hate Bolivia. And now this entire military is here. That's a lot of artillery. If you lose infantry, then the artillery are essentially useless, as the enemy marches right to them. Usually you don't want more artillery than infantry. In fact, you want more infantry than any other unit type. But for this battle, this will have to do. I'm actually going to go to the budget and max spending on national stockpile. That's going to put me way in the red. Because you see, they actually went to 100%. So I'm just going to boost my own units up to guarantee that I can handle them. And every day they do go up a little more. Ah, newspaper. Another thing added in House of Darkness. House of Darkness, Hard Darkness, wow. Alright, now this is going to give us some interesting things. Like Bolivia going to war. If we didn't check, this would be in our newspaper, so we know. War between Brazil and Paraguay. Usually the headline is something that involves your country if something interesting happened. And then there's some flavor text like wolves kill 4, pack of wolves in a town in Siberia. Just little interesting things that just add and make the world a more real place. So we'll continue on. The Paraguay military I'm almost ready to destroy. Another cavalry coming in. Do I wait for them? Again, as long as I destroy this before the occupation actually happens, it's really not a big deal. Let's see. Bolivia has no allies. And Colombia is allied with Ecuador, which is right here. I'm not too worried about Ecuador. They actually don't directly border us, so they'd have to go through Bolivia to even attack us. Alright, I think I'm going to break this siege now. So it's quite simple. You move in, and your military does the rest. They go in, they'll start fighting. My number is green, which means that I'm winning this fight currently, and theirs is red. If it's white, it's undecided. And you see their organization's going down a lot, and they're actually retreating. As soon as I get that, I paused. I hover over them to see that they're going to Enarcion. Sorry if I'm not saying this right. So I'm going to follow them into Enarcion. And I'm going to just completely crush this military. And we'll actually go to diplomacy. We'll show our war. It's currently at 0%. So I can't add a war goal because the war's not going well enough. But it will be as soon as I take this territory. Alright, upper house, rearrange. This happens, what, every year? 3,000. I won again. And I actually crushed their military entirely. Now, I think I'll leave my military there for now. Somehow I'm positive. Wow. I have no idea how my bank account was positive right then. But hey, I'm not complaining about it. And now, while this is happening, as long as I have at least one person sitting there, they're going to keep capturing. So I'm going to take one artillery and one cavalry off. Actually, I'll take one artillery. Just that artillery. Oh. Just that artillery. Move it into there to... Yeah, actually, I'll move it there. Because that's where that army is about to go. Take one infantry off of that military unit. And bring it here. And then I will split off a cavalry and an artillery. Select them. Move them into this territory as well. And now we can add our humiliate war goal. So it'll give us 5 prestige, and we'll proceed with that. Meanwhile, I'm going to pause real quick. Bolivia's allied with Colombia now. Damn it. I was hoping on getting the war with them before that happened. I'm going to get ready for the war on Colombia then. As soon as I'm done with Paraguay, I'm just going to march up here and start going to war. Now my 2 allies are next to Colombia. They should join me. I am going to justify an acquire state goal. Now, I did mention trade in what areas produce. You can actually look at that in RGO outputs. So I will be taking an area in here which is not that interesting of an area. However, if I do future wars, looking at regions, I want these mountain areas right here, which actually produce grain, which is my biggest import right now. In order to get there, I'm going to have to take this area right here. So I'm going to absolutely destroy Colombia and take most of the actual land that Colombia owns. Now there aren't a lot of people in these territories. About 3k there, 5k, and so on. But it's really a strategic area that I am aiming for. So with that in mind, my acquire state, even though it can add 11 infamy, is worth it to me. So I'm going to proceed and start justifying that. Ooh, an outbreak of smallpox. Now either I do what I can and only lose 10% of my population in Rio de Janeiro, my capital, but they gain consciousness, which is more likely to cause political movements, or I lose more people and lose a militancy, which militancy is the odds of getting a rebellion. I'm going to do whatever I can. I really don't want to lose that many people, and that's already a lot. And now I'm gonna pause real quick and let's see. because I just added the war goal, I actually can't negotiate for peace until the 28th of March. Right now my diplomat is there and coming back. And you cannot negotiate for peace or do anything with someone until your diplomat is back home. So I'm going to propose peace to acquire my territory and humiliate them, and they would accept this offer. So I'm going to proceed, and it'll take a day or two, and then they accept. So I'm going to get my military out of their territory, combine this one up. You guys are actually going to come up here. Whoa, why can I march through Colombia? Oh, because I'm not in my territory yet. Alright, so we'll unpause. Now these soldiers are different colored, and the reason for that... Ooh, these guys actually aren't... Come on. Is that right now I can only support 7 brigades, and not all these brigades are the ones that I can support, if that makes sense. So I have artillery there. I actually can't support any of my cavalry, which is really unfortunate. So we'll move one guy up there. One is going to move up to this territory. And this third one, once they get out of Paraguay... Chartist rallies? A rally has been organized in one of our states by members of the Brazilian Chartist Club, calling for an extension of voting privileges to broader strata of the voting publicum. While calm and relatively orderly on the surface, a rally might get out of hand at any time. Police are standing by, ready to intervene, and some among them even seem eager to. You can either let them hold their rally, they become more liberal in Parana, or let the boys in blue have their way, and I lose more population. I'm going to let them hold their rally. And then move my military up. I don't want to lose any more population. I've already lost a large amount. Now, if this military isn't enough for a war, there is another thing you can do. You can actually mobilize your poor, which you go to military, and currently we can mobilize 6 brigades, and you just press this button. It takes some time to completely mobilize, and the big problem with that is it hurts your economy though, which mine currently is not doing too well. I'm not too worried about that. I will lower that spending. I will eventually bounce back. Right now I'm completely broke. The biggest thing that you don't want to do if you have no money is in a random event choose something that spends money. That seems to be the only actual way to get a negative balance and to declare bankruptcy, which will kill my prestige, which currently I'm actually ranked 12 because I've gained so much prestige from that last war. Alright, so here's slaves starting to revolt, which they'll gain 6 militancy. Slaves are a very large portion of my population, so I'm hoping they don't revolt too fast. Now in the last video I mentioned colonial power. I guess I have time to explain that right now. Colonial power is essentially controlled by the ports you have. The more ports you have, the better. And the amount of ships you have. It essentially is supply and controlling your colonies across seas. Alright, so let's see. UK is going against Burma, trying to get Casus Belli. Not too concerned about that. My biggest concern is that in the war up here, Venezuela does not join me. And if they don't join... Well, alright, so Casus Belli was declared... was discovered. I gained 7 infamy out of the 11 possible. Not too bad. Now you see my balance. I'm not actually losing money anymore because I have gotten as much money as I possibly can from the world. No one else is willing to lend me money right now. We will fix that once we are done going to all these wars. Typhoid fever. We're going to quarantine the state. They will lose a lot less people, but they will get more militant. Alright, we have basic chemistry now. I'm letting time go still, and there's no technology. You may think that I'm wasting technology points, but actually they accumulate, and they will just quickly spend once you choose a technology, so you don't have to pause. Alright, so the castability is going to come faster, which is perfect for me. I'm going to start research on medicine. It'll go up, I think, usually goes up by like 100 per day until you've used up all your excess. Alright, let's pause real quick. I'm getting a lot of notices up here. And we got another Gazeta Brasiliense. Portugal is expanding. Some technologies. Machine parts are going up. Not surprised. A lot of people are actually producing factories right now. A call to allies from Chile, which wants us to go to War Pacific, taking these territories from Bolivia. I'm going to say no and lose my alliance. I don't want to go to war and have Chile being the one controlling the war. Military access request from Bolivia. I'm just going to right click to deny that. Let's move forward. Go to diplomacy and see how our war justification is going. 114 more days. Speed up the game a little bit, just to the 4th notch to fast speed. Our military is in position. Because these are red, they're not reinforcing very well. They will eventually max out again, but it'll take an extremely long time. Let's see, this... Alright, so here I'm going to pull this infantry out. And, oh, I actually don't have another infantry to throw in there. I'll throw this yellow one in. That means that the state that they're from can support at least 1 military unit, but it has more than 1 currently. I'm going to take this red one and move it over there. Just get my strong military in this right here. Ecuador and Bolivia, huh? Come on. Well, Upper House rearranged. Another year has passed. The years tend to go really fast. Some countries you'll want to, I'm going to pause. Some countries will go slower during certain time periods. It's been 2 years. And now I have the secession of territory, Casus Belli. And with that, I'm going to end this episode here. Next episode, we are going to war with Colombia, Bolivia, with Colombia, who will call our allies, and probably Bolivia, maybe Ecuador will join in the war as well, which would be a little inconvenient, but nothing we can't handle. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you really like what you're seeing, favorite the video, show your friends. All that stuff helps me out a ton. But otherwise, this has been Neosquad. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.